What's up guys? Thanks so much for tuning back into my channel, and as requested, highly requested, is a video about fees. So fees for signing services and fees from your direct clients, whoever that may be. But before I get into it, you already know the drill. Comment, like, subscribe, that really helps me out, and it also helps newbies that are looking for information like this. Before I get into the video, I just want to discuss my mentorship. A few of you have asked, and you can just go ahead and email me below. I will leave my email there. Again, if you've emailed me, I'm trying my hardest to get back to you. If you've emailed me, just please be patient. I want to schedule my mentorships on the weekend because that's when I'm usually not busy, but I, for some reason, have been working a lot on Saturdays and Sundays. So I want to be able to squeeze you guys in, preferably in the morning. Maybe Saturday mornings might work best, but again, we'll figure it out. So just email me below and I'll see what we can do. All right, let's talk about fees that you need to charge from signing services. So whenever you sign up for a signing service, usually they will ask what your fees are. So they'll ask you for a fee for each type of loan. So let me break that down for you real quick. Okay, there is the traditional or general loan signing fee, which is $90 to $100. And then you have your full purchase for $90 to $100, reverse mortgage $90 to $100, extra for e-docs, nothing, loan application $50, cash deal $75. So again, these are just very general fees. I recommend that you do not take anything under $100 just because of how much work you're doing, gas, driving, your paper supplies, your printer supplies, everything. So again, maybe if you're in a smaller city, it's acceptable, but if you're in a large city like me, I just can't do below 100 unless it's some sort of miscellaneous doc. That could be an annuity or maybe just one grant deed. Those are usually just like one page, or like, well, grant deeds could range from like 1 to 5, 1 to 10, and then you're only notarizing about 2 things. And then for an annuity, that is probably about 20-30 pages. That's usually people getting a settlement check, and I'll do those for like $50 if they're close by. Also, I've done a few ID proofings, and that comes from like a company trying to verify their employees' identification, background, and I'll do those for around 50 to 80. I think one time I've gotten 100 for one. So again, it really ranges on what you're doing. So those are the only signings that I recommend doing below $100, because loan docs are at least 120 pages, and I mean, sometimes as small as 100, but regardless, that's still a lot of signings that you need to, watch over, explain, and then you're also notarizing a few things, so it adds up. Another loan that I want to touch on is the reverse mortgage. Actually, the reverse mortgage application, that can be from $300, so don't take one for less than 100. Because it literally takes forever, mainly because a lot of the people doing reverse mortgages are elders, and some of them feel a little jaded. The few that I've talked to have told me that they've been screwed over before, and they're just not as trusting, and I wouldn't either. I mean, a reverse mortgage is a huge decision, so you just want to make sure that they feel comfortable. But a lot of them also like to talk a lot because they are older. They like that companionship. So I do charge, I counter offer more because I already know what it's going to look like. Most of them like to talk a lot, even though I keep that to a minimum. And the whole loan application is it could be about 300 pages, and it takes a while for them to go through it. So again, be wary of those. The reverse mortgage loan though, so this is after the application, that one can range from like maybe 80 pages, 80 to a little bit less, maybe 50 to 80. And those ones I've charged under 100 before because it was a small application, and most of the time the person applying for the person getting the reverse mortgage already knows all the paperwork because they did the initial application. So again, it kind of depends, but I'll take 80 for those sometimes. Something else that I want to touch upon is do not be afraid to counter offer. And I think a few of you have even mentioned that this never even crossed your mind, which surprises me because I'm just so baffled when I see an offer for $75 or even $60 for a loan, and it's just it blows my mind. I'm just like, are you serious? Just for 100 plus pages, and then you have to print a copy for the customer too, or the signer. So it just doesn't make sense to me. But don't be afraid to counter offer. I'm going to explain what happened to me a few days ago, and it really upset me. And I was printing out the documents, and first of all, this was a first and second buyer loan. So those come with 2 documents, and it was my mistake that I took the signing for $135 for 2 loans, 2 loan docs. I was super busy Friday, and I just took it when I was in the midst of, you know, going from signer to signer. But I was printing it out that day of the signing, and then I saw the settlement statement, and the settlement statement said $425, and I was getting paid $135. So of course I was really upset, and I emailed one of the ladies that was already speaking to me from the signing service, and I asked, you know, I see this $425, can you explain to me? Because previously I asked her if she could increase my fee, and they said no, because that's what they negotiated with their clients. So they told me, I can put the email up here and you guys can read that. So basically, she said that there's already a fee set between the clients and them, which I get, and that the settlement statement is just that, an estimate. But after, when I was doing the signing, the title charges, which I think are a little more concrete, was $250, I believe. So still, I was like, that means that the signing service is getting more than what I'm getting paid for, and I'm the one actually doing the work. I appreciate the signing services because they are the ones that give me easy business. It's just there. I don't have to actually do the work to get the business, but at the same time, it shouldn't be like that. You know, the notary should be getting paid more than the signing service. So that obviously rubbed me the wrong way. And I really want, if you work for a signing service, or you own a signing service, or you've just been in the industry really long and you understand, if you can please explain to me how this works, because obviously the signing service told me one thing, but when I saw that other price, I was a little shocked. So please, I'm a very curious person, so I would like to know how this works out. And I understand that they're going to take a cut regardless. I don't mind that. It's just when they're getting paid more than me. Always counter offer, please. We need to set the standard for our work and let them know that it's, you know, we spend a lot of time studying these documents, doing everything, printing. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of wear and tear, not just on our cars, but our bodies. Like I physically feel drained when I have obviously 6 signings a day is gonna do that too, but it can be exhausting. All right, now let's get into your direct fees. Keep in mind that direct fees, this comes from either escrow, title, lawyers, developers, whoever you're in communication with, or whoever you reach out to get business from. So we have loan signing fee, $150, full purchase, $150, reverse mortgage, $150, extra for e-docs, nothing, loan application, $75, cash deal, $100. Okay, also for this one, it's going to range, and usually when I market myself to new clients, I will obviously put this list of fees, but I'll make it range from like loan application, $150 to $300, because the fee is based on the closing disclosure. So always keep that in mind, or the settlement statement, but usually the closing disclosure. So when I have a new client, I do put, as stated, I'll put these fees, and then at the bottom, I'll make sure that they know that this is contingent upon the closing disclosure, so that they know, you know, I'm not just throwing out random numbers, and they know that. So I'll do the same thing for like the cash deal, the reverse mortgage, the full purchase, all that. I'll just make it a range so that it's easier to distinguish. I've heard some people get 400. I've never gotten that much, and hopefully I can someday, but I feel like that will come with maybe if you're driving extra far, you can negotiate with your escrow officer, whoever you do business with. You can ask them for a little bit more. I've done that before when I've had to drive out like an hour away, and they were more than willing to pay me a little bit more. Another thing I want to share with you guys is try not to overcharge. Don't be a little greedy. You want to make sure that you're being able to build this relationship with your client. And, you know, there are a few things where I've let slide, you know, some fees that were a little bit cheaper because I want to be able to grow with them. And the ones that I have done that for, I'm in consistent communication with them. They give me more signings because we're both able to work with each other. And more often than not, like, these escrow officers they're not getting a dime of that notary fee. So really just negotiate with them if you feel like the price is unfair, but don't ask for too much. I made that mistake once and I highly regret it. So let me just share this story with you. I was doing I think like it's some sort of interspousal grant deed that's taking a spouse on or off the deed. And it was about 10 pages and I charged around $200 because I had gotten another one just like that from a signing service for $200. So in my mind, I thought it was okay to charge that much. And again, I am just starting out. So you know, I thought that was normal, and especially coming from an escrow officer, if a signing service can give me that much, why can't an escrow officer? So I sent in the invoice when I dropped it off, and then the next day they texted me and they asked, why is it so high? And I was a little taken aback. I was like, oh no, like, I hope I did not screw over this relationship just by setting that high fee. So we talked about it, and she said that when I emailed her, I gave her that list that I just showed you guys of the fees, and that was my mistake because it was like I was pulling numbers out of my, you know. So since then, I do not charge more than expected, like I mentioned earlier, and I do my best to ask them how much is this fee before I actually do the signing, just so that we're all on the same page, and when I send an invoice, they're not surprised. That happened to me last month, that event, and thankfully they were willing to work with me and pay me in the middle, and I actually just got a signing from her today, so that makes me feel like, okay, we're okay. My relationship with them is not tarnished. All right, and that's it for your direct fees. Again, I mean, if you're doing general notary work, not just loans, you could charge maybe around $50. It really depends like what you want to charge for driving. I did one time, I think just a grant deed for somebody. They had a location, or they had a home in the Bahamas. So I filled out their paperwork, and it was, I got paid $100 for a couple pages. So it really ranges. That is up to you and your discretion. But for loan fees, obviously there's more of a standard than when you're doing general notary work. All right, guys, I hope that helped you guys out. Please don't forget to subscribe and like and comment. You can ask me anything below, and I try to get back to everybody, but thankfully there are other people that are willing to answer your questions. And you know, I want to make sure that this is a community and you're all getting the help that you need. So again, thank you guys for watching, and if you stuck through this whole video, I appreciate you, and thanks guys. I'll see you next time.